Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name remains Rotimi Tayo, and such a pleasure to be hosting the show today. This is a Tuesday morning in the back to school season. This is the 14th of September, and I believe it's a great day always, not just on the show, but for you and for everyone that joins us. We're always excited to tell you about the Good Morning Education Show to bring you such a delight that takes place Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And of course, Sundays are not left out, which is 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Good Morning Education Show is a show you must not miss. And we have fantastic people. We have expert analysts who sometimes just come with their giftings, their exposure, their understanding, their mastery to share about the subject matter of discussion. And we take questions on the show from you, our audience, our tribe members, our guests. We take also contributions on the subject matter of the day. And we sometimes always start with conversations around the headlines within the world of education. Today will not be an exception. I already have our fantastic and amazing analysts on standby. And guess what? Our analysts are people who are passionate about what they do and also have stakes and interest within the world of education. These are people that will speak the truth and speak the truth to the matter. And also, you will love them. They're fantastic people. We have our analysts from across the world. If you've not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead to do so and make sure you like the video, subscribe, share, tell everyone out there the Good Morning Education Show is here. We're streaming from Lagos, Nigeria to West Africa, to Africa, and the entire world. This is the best show on education on the planet. Take it anywhere. I mean it, the best show. So let's welcome Fiyinfolu, and also we'll welcome Dr. Omotola, the great Fiyinfolu, and Dr. Omotola. Good morning to you guys. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. It's a good morning to be on the show. And it's a beautiful morning this morning. The sun is shining. Yesterday it was raining, but we thank God for all the seasons. Good morning, Amotola. Welcome also.
Good morning. Good to be on the show as well. And please do not transfer the rain here. Thank you. Just a second.
So it's about to rain in America.
Yes, they are predicting it, but I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but you need the rains now, don't you know? It needs to usher in
What they
autumn.
what they
We
are
need to.
predicting is a lot of rain. So I'm like, please, they said possible flooding. So I'm like, please, just hold on, wait until the weekend.
You are safe. You are safe, Dr. Motola. You are safe. All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, so let's head over to the conversation of today. We're going to start and let's just have the very first headline. NYSC DG honors corps members with his presence after she gave birth to male twins. Adorable photo warms heart. This is from the legit.ng Nigerian news. Any top comment on that?
This is quite an interesting one, especially because, well, I don't know, maybe they've stopped that. But when I served, there was compulsory pregnancy test done on corps members to be sure that corps members were not pregnant, coming to camp with pregnancy because of the drills to ensure that um, there was no miscarriages and all of that. So, well, at this point, we don't know how long this corps member has been in in the scheme. Maybe she's been there for some months. Maybe got married shortly before getting to camp and all. But whatever the situation is, it's co- remembering or calling to mind what the situation was when I served, and maybe shortly before that, stories I heard. It's quite an interesting one that, well, we have the situation, but then the birth of a child is always a great thing, and here the birth of twins is a great thing. Definitely, that will do the visit of the DG to this new mother, to the family. is definitely something that will be cheering to them. And it goes down in the history of the kids. They would always be told that when you were born, the NYSCDG visited you. Hopefully, when the kids are old enough to go for the service, things will be much better, and then they can make a boost when they get to the camp. Like, oh, this was what happened when we were born. Thank you.
Dr. Motola.
Yeah, so one of the comments I saw was that apparently when the news was shared on Facebook, that some of the people said they should name one of the child after the DJ itself. But I'll say yes, congratulations, and I think it's a good thing that actually they cared beyond just saying that, oh, you're just one of the members of the NYC people, that for him to and his entourage to go and check on her and see them. I think that means a lot. That means more than just sending like a letter or something. So I hope that this practice can be done for all pregnant people, not just for her as an exception. But overall, congratulations to the family.
Fantastic. Twins are making rounds. Twins are making rounds. So that's what I would say. Then we have some interesting, some interesting news. Let me. I'm trying to say. All right, we have NAPTAN president calls for massive recruitment of teachers. NAPTAN president, Dr. Motola.
I think we've been seeing this all over. Like, I know in the northern states that there have been a lot of need for teachers and how some civil servants have been turned into teachers. So I think this is a good thing. I just hope that there are enough people that will answer the call. And I wonder, maybe this might be the time to start thinking of doing something that is like a special NYSC. I don't know what it's NYSC that we should call it on that, but I think it should be a special fellowship that should be created for teachers, because we can't afford to keep going on and on with these not having enough teachers to work with our students. And so I'm really hoping that hopefully these recruitment will yield the kind of results that they want, and that this will bring in new crops of teachers who are ready, who are passionate about the field, and who are willing to do what it takes to help the educational field succeed. And I hope that they are going to be trained appropriately, not just thrown into the system without any proper training to get them going as well. So I think it's a good thing. I just hope that there are enough bodies to fill the numbers that is required, and they're not just like any kind of numbers, but quality in numbers, not just quantity. Thank you.
Fane, welcome back. We're talking about NAPTAN's president's call for massive recruitment of teachers. Quick update or comment on that? Fane, are you there?
Maybe she's frozen. She will be back, hopefully.
Okay. All right. Dr. Motola, let me ask you a question. Have you had your third jab of COVID vaccine?
No, I've only had two. So I've done the first and second. I didn't know I was supposed to take a third one. When I just saw the headline, I'm like, what? Oh, goodness. Yeah, this has created a lot of issues actually, because here in the university, they are mandating that everybody must take the COVID-19 test. If not, they have to like do weekly, before you can come on campus, you have to do weekly tests to make sure that you're not positive with COVID-19. And it has been creating a lot of issues, especially like within our own field of social work, because our students have to go for internship and they have to do at least 140 hours before they can graduate. And so there has been this back and forth battle where students are like, no, I don't want to take this. This should not be mandatory. And the students like, well, if you don't take it, then you cannot do your internship. They're not going to go out of their way to look for. And then so people are citing different reasons. So apparently last week we got a news where like over $1.6 million was given towards like learning the correlation between the vaccine and how it is affecting women reproductive health, especially when it comes to their menstrual period and things like that. So this is interesting that based on the news I'm seeing that yes, they're saying that it's now linked to heart inflammation. And so, like we said, there are a lot of unknowns when it comes to the vaccine and even the COVID-19 itself. So I think at this point, we just have to, everybody has to do what they think is right for them. And yeah, so yeah, it's a lot.
All right, Finn, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so we're greeting with another strike looms, ASU ones.
I was saying this thing, I think it was yesterday when there was something, was it yesterday or last week when they were saying something about or the federal government responded to just two or so of their requests. And I was just feeling, I hope this is not them laying the foundation for another strike. And really, ASU by now should have read the Times, the um, read the handwriting that is not visible to see that people are tired of of the strikes. They're even beginning, if they haven't already lost the goodwill of students and parents, in supporting them and saying, "Oh, we stand by you. We stand by you." Every whim, the next thing is, "Oh, we're going on strike," at every inconvenience, "Oh, we're going on strike." And there are other ways. ASU is a body of intellectuals, of academics. Can't they come up with another way to press their point home without it resorting to a strike? Honestly, right now, I'm quite pissed off with ASU and more like, please. It's like at this point we need to say enough is enough. You've been using this method for years and it's not working apparently. So find something else that works. That's my thoughts.
All right, thank you so much. We have another headline: sit at home. That's the sit at home order or mandate. Gunmen invade Imo school, chase was candidate away. That's very sad.
When we reviewed the
Yeah.
headline yesterday on gunmen and the emo thing and the sit-at-home order, it looks like, oh, well, those guys have said that the sit-at-home order is suspended and all of that. But the truth still remains that people in that zone, people in that area, are they don't take it as a joke. So Mondays in the southeast of Nigeria is like the streets are like ghost streets. People don't go out because they're afraid that anything could happen on the road. And that is what we're seeing now. Imagine students being in exam hall, they're already in the exam mode, and you see people with blaring guns coming in to say, get out. That's shocking. That's traumatizing. And really, you see, when it comes to this issue of insecurity, I don't think I don't think we can say it enough that those who are responsible for our collective security, let's leave our individual security alone. I know that wherever I am, it's my duty to look around and stay alert and know what's going on around me and all. But for those who are responsible for our collective security, we cannot say it enough that we are not safe in our country and we need this to stop.
Okay, Dr. Motola, I know you want to say something about this.
Yeah, just a bit like just angry a little bit about it, and I'm like, yeah, like Shane said, there has to be we have to do better because it doesn't make sense. What was their motive behind chasing the student away from learning? What was the motive behind them not letting them write their work? So I'm like, this cannot, like, what is the motive? Were they trying to steal? Were they trying to take resources within the school? Was there anything special about the school itself, or are they just worried about COVID-19 spreading, and this is their own way of saying that we protest school resuming without proper vaccination stuff? So it just raises a lot of questions for me, that what is the motive behind it beyond just trying to do evil things.
So let me say this, which would be a little bit of you could easily look at it as a peg off of what we did yesterday. I think that if, for example, if it was a particular group responsible for the sit-at-home order, and they've now taken the children as a medium of expressing their whatever it is, their mandate or grievances and advocate, I would authoritatively say that that nullifies whatever good they are trying to push, because it shows that they are more of brutes rather than people who have wits. Because how would the children have done nothing. Yes, you could say, oh, children go and defies. The basic reason why you say sit at home is because you don't want economic activity. You want to prove a point. And if 90% of that has been achieved, the external exam is not a government exam. It is general exam. It's something happening across the country, across different schools. And these are children, to be precise. So I think that these people are now becoming what they really are. They were trying to defend themselves. They are not what they are. But if it's what I think it is, if I'm correct, I think you might correct me. I think that's now brutish in nature. They are animalistic in nature. They are not thinking. And I'm not supporting 1% anything that they represent, because obviously it means that they don't have reason and reasoning amongst them. Because sit-at-home order. So for example, if somebody is dying or a pregnant woman is about to put to bed, they will say because of sit-at-home order. This is the problem we have in Nigeria, right? Sometimes you now understand that what people call advocacy is not advocacy. The truth is they're just selfish agenda expressing themselves using the tool of might, of power, of gun, of numbers, because that's not advocacy. There's no sense in that. And any reasonable government should prove their mettle by deciding to say, you know what, there's a point you don't hit below the belt. That's below the belt. The trauma is one. The destiny that can be altered, because nobody's going to tell us about compensation. Or is it that they will compensate the children for, or there's a special external exam timetable for people with victimized zones? It doesn't make sense. You can correct me, but I don't know.
And this has never been about advocacy. This has always been the gunmen agitating for the release of the acclaimed IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu. So they really do not care about human rights. They really do not care about safety of children, or putting into consideration somebody is in dire need or is in is in a medical emergency. They don't care. What they want is to create as much disturbance as they can to get the attention of the government to say, look, release our leader, or we're going to make sure things burn. And that's where the government needs to stand up. Yesterday, the Imo State government, well, from what we saw in the headlines, the statement from the Imo State government was, oh, they're appealing they should let peace reign. And you don't appeal to people who are taking others well, maybe silent hostage now by saying, look, we're restricting your movement. And these guys they have unleashed enough terror on the communities for people to stay in their houses, defy what the government says, and says, oh, don't bother, you can go about your normal businesses. They know that these guys mean business. So they stay in their homes and say, look, we're not going to work, we're not opening our shops, we're not doing our businesses because we know what these guys are capable of. And look at it, oh, the government said, no problem. Let the kids go and write their exams and see what happened. Is this not further restating the fact that these guys are all out for chaos, for disruption, for destruction as much as they can? And what are we hearing from the government? What are we seeing the government do in regards to the safety of people who do not want a part of this? Yes, you have a right to agitate for the freedom of your leader, but also you do not have the right to infringe on the rights of other members of the society or other law-abiding members of the society. And in this case, now dragging children into it. This is something. This is something that we need to be hitting, to be sending knocks to the government and saying, look, let's, even if we choose to close our eyes to every other effects that this is having, we cannot afford to have our children dragged into this and being stopped from continuing their lives because somebody who has already lived his own life to a point is in a situation where others are not happy about. So what happens to the future of these children? These are these conversations we should be having and letting the government know that, look, this cannot continue to go. You cannot continue to appeal to them and beg them. What happened to taking steps? When Twitter appeared to be a threat to the government, they knew how to clamp down on it. So why can't you clamp down? Why can't they use the same manner of response in this situation? That's the boggling thing.
It's one of those things. I think that we need to call people to order. It's just absolute nonsense, and authoritatively and unapologetically will I say that it's absolute nonsense. It's just so. Welcome TT, welcome Olushola Olumide to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Project Director. Good morning, Dr. Motalade. Good morning, Finn. I'm not seeing TT's logo. Good morning, everyone. Oh,
Good morning,
great,
everyone.
great. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good
Yes.
morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
All right. So Kogi State begins census of public primary schools. Any feedback on that?
Well, I think it's about time. Like you always said, the school system needs data. So I'm glad that at least they're taking official steps and they're doing taking the necessary steps towards actually knowing and understanding who they have within. And I wonder what it includes. So that's my question: is like, beyond, is it just the normal sensor, like if you're doing like population sensor that they're taking, which is really good because it's very comprehensive. They can understand who their students are, where they're coming from, what is their age group, their family, kind of like history in the sense of like their background or like their economical status and things like that, whether you're coming from single parent family or two parent family and those kind of things as well. So I think this is a good step in a good direction, and I hope that other schools can hopefully take advantage of that. And I also like that they're not just doing it for public school. They started with private school, and according to them, they had 80% success rate, and now they're going to the public school system to do the same thing. So I'm hoping that they won't just collect this data and not use it, but they will use it to hopefully do more and transform the educational system within the state for the better.
All right, thank you very much. And we have another news. Plans for a new University of Portsmouth campus in London have been announced.
Rotimi, I wanted to comment on the Kogi one because one of the things they said is that they plan to close down all unregistered school by September 2021. I felt that's a bit harsh So yes, they've started the process of doing census and all that, but we already know there's a shortage in education. So when you say you want to then close down the registered school, if they haven't registered by September, I think that's a bit too harsh. So let's start the process of the registering. Give a long leeway to people to come and register. Now people will be afraid of registering for so many reasons. So the important thing is to show the value from registering rather than try to bring the cane of not registering. So what value are you going to be giving for those that have registered so that it compels the others? One of the things they said that they wanted to do was to promote teacher welfare through the registration process. Because if you find that there's a real value in being part of an association and registering, then sooner or later people will on their own carry their two legs to go and register. So, but that rather than it seem as if it's something that you want to punish them, you want to use it to cane the others who you want to use it to lord over them, and show that you are the big boss. But if it's really more from a value perspective, then more and more people would register.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Another headline says heart inflammation linked to Pfizer and Moderna jabs. Titi, why are you laughing like that?
This vaccination thing is it's very controversial. There are a lot of things people say about it. We don't have data yet. This vaccination, when did it start? It's almost very, I don't want to say it's too early to say you have data to say it's linked to something, because remember that anybody that has the heart inflammation, you have to first of all go through their history to find out if they didn't have those conditions already before you then fully say it was due to the vaccination.
This is from the European Medicine Agency.
There's a lot of people for and against it based on the fact that countries are now trying to insist on the vaccination. So all the people that are against it, saying that you mustn't force us to vaccinate, they can start this thing. They say it's linked. I'm sure there's no data. It's just too soon.
So which of the jabs did you get, Titi?
It's see me see trouble. Let me tell you, it's the same thing where they say that autism is due to getting vaccination. There are a lot of people that are in the don't receive vaccination, and it's not even before this COVID though. I have people that don't believe that their children should be vaccinated. I'm sure those people that are not from this Africa, those of us that grew up in this Africa that know what child mortality rates were like when we were growing up. A lot of us are for vaccination, but I know a lot of people that live outside of the country that they don't believe in vaccination and they do not vaccinate their children. So it's always been there, and they put a lot of linkage to a lot of diseases to say, oh, this is why this disease linked to this vaccination. There has been no data. And I know this vaccination thing. When was the first vaccination given? It's too early to. My mother-in-law told me that when asked whether she had done the vaccination, she told me that her sister told her that all the old people she knows that took the vaccine have died. I was so now all the old people she know. That kind of thing. In my mind, I looked at her. I was like, So I said, Mommy, people just come and people like those kind of things, and then all of them just chop it. They say all the old people that have taken it have died. We know that's not true. So that's just it. I think it's because heart inflammation. Heart inflammation is it's not something that you can just. How did they arrive at that? Anyway, we're not doctors in the house, but I just feel that it's a bit too soon to come to that conclusion. Do they have enough data?
Thank you so much. I don't know if Olushola has anything to say on this. Swiri.
Well, not yet. Let's move on.
Can I chip in something about this vaccination thing? See, I will have
Yeah.
no views if people are saying, "Oh, we're not taking the vaccines." Fine, don't take the vaccines, but please be COVID intelligent also. The same people who are saying, "No, we won't take the vaccines," are the who are not using masks, are the same people who do not see anything wrong with not giving distance. I mean, somebody is actively coughing beside you, even if it is just maybe something got caught in their throat. It's not COVID, but they are active. You cannot determine what cough is COVID cough or not. People are sneezing around you, and you're still you walk around and you're wondering, do people even still realize that this is a real thing that is happening? So by all means, getting vaccinated or not, well, at a point it looked like it was obligatory. Well, it's your choice, but now it's beginning to look like we all owe it to each other to get vaccinated. And if you choose not to get vaccinated, at least protect yourself. Even if you're not protecting yourself, protect the next person to you who is coming in contact with you, because we cannot tell what you have. I can't tell what I have. So I cover I have my mask, I have my sanitizer and all of that. I come in from a
I
place,
have
I'm
joy.
washing my hands. To at least protect the next person. What they say, all die and I die, Abby. Don't get vaccinated. Eventually, everybody's still going to die at one point or the other. But don't make that choice for somebody else by now exposing them.
Hmm.
I guess of his to-do list, vaccination is top 5.
Shots one, shots two, shots three, shots four. Bring it on.
Overdose. Anyways, welcome Alero. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Uh,
Morning.
all right. So we have another headline. Many managers are itching to get staff back to the office despite employees championing alternative setups. So this remote work thing, it doesn't work well for CEOs and managers. That's what it simply says. Any thoughts on that, Omotola?
I think this has caused a lot of issues, like especially here, because almost every day there's this sign, like almost all the companies are looking for more people to come into the workforce to come and work. And most people are like, no, I want to stay at home. No, I want to do online work. No, I want to do remote work. So I think this will be interesting as things unfold. But yes, I think honestly, I can't really say that people should be forced to go back to work when they're not sure about whether or not their friends or their co-workers or the other employees have been vaccinated and are going to do the proper protocol. And so I think over time things are going to unfold. I'm sure that not everybody will go back 100%. I know that I had that Amazon, Microsoft, and some of these big other companies, they're not getting their employees back to work until next year. Some are waiting till next year, October, or next year, May, or something like that. So I think there is a lot of cases for why employees should go back to work in the face-to-face realm. And there might be some cases for those that want to still continue the online setup and remote work as well. But some of the things that were listed in this article was that sometimes there's internet instability, then the like spontaneous like brainstorming, having your employee right there to troubleshoot ideas, to ask questions, to problem solve together might be missing a lot because they're working all remotely and they might not all be like fully focused on the job at hand if they're working from the kitchen table. So at this point, honestly, I don't have for me right now, actually, to be all honest, by the end of this month, I'm going to be transitioning to working fully remotely for my job starting from October 1. So yeah, so I think depending on different situations, for instance, I'll give you another example. Like some of my students like the way our classes are set up this semester is that we do flex sync. And what does that mean? Some of the students can choose to come to class in person, and some can choose to be on Zoom. So we're not saying that you have to come to school and be here in person. We're not saying that you have to stay online. So we're allowing students to pick and choose what is best for them. So for some students, some of the reason why they're choosing to still do online is like they have family members that immunocompromised. So, for instance, I have some students who maybe parent or grandparent that they live with have a lot of health issues that they can, and some of them also like they cannot take the vaccine. Where when she took the first vaccine, it had such a really bad adverse effect on her. So after further testing, they realized that she cannot take the second one, or else she might die because there's something in her gene that is totally not working with all the current vaccines that are in place. So she is permanently, officially remote for until further notice right now because our system is immunocompromised as well. So depending on the situation of circumstances, we may not exactly know what is going on with like people beyond just what we see, beyond just themselves. So I'll say people should do what is best for them and go from there.
Thank you very much. And I think on that note, we need to get to the conversation of the day. And we will be speaking and treating on the topic, the best term yet. I know it's back to school season for most of us here in the part of the world. It's back to school season. And so many stories have started popping up and so many conversations. I love the prayer Titi made on Instagram. I saw that post was yesterday. Yes. Or was it Sunday? I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, no, it was yesterday.
Yes. I said, Titi has been firing lyrics lately. I think that's about you took poetry as part of your unleashing your talents. Okay, so the best time yet. What comes to mind? Let's start with Olushola Olumide. I'm coming back to Finn. When you hear the word best time yet.
Well, thank you, Prayer Director. Talking about the best term yet, I want to believe it's a. Yeah, okay. Once you put drop me now. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Aha. So I think he's talking about having a progressive mindset that no matter what you've achieved in the previous sessions, previous terms, we can always improve. We can always do more. So always having each time as the best term yet. I think my understanding of that topic is that we should strive to upgrade every term. We should do better. No matter what we have achieved, we shouldn't rest on our oars. We shouldn't get stuck celebrating the achievement of the past. Well, it is good to celebrate. However, we need to think ahead and say, okay, we've done this. What else can we do? What is left to be done? And I think looking at it from a biblical point of view too, I think the case of Joshua comes to mind after he has done that, conquered this, conquered that, and has divided the land, only for him to be told that see, there's so much land here to be conquered. So that tells you that there is no point we should get to the point of saturation in our achievement. We shouldn't rest on our oars. We shouldn't get to a point where we feel we have arrived. Because whatever we call achievement today is a matter of time. Somebody somewhere is going to break the record. And if you're not going to be confined into the dustbin of history, we must keep evolving. We must keep improving, doing better, and giving better service. And that is what keeps us afloat. It makes us to be relevant. And of course, it translates into a better outcomes, which I think is a good publicity for the school. And of course, more pupils, higher pay, more profit, and it brings about sustainability at the end of the day so that the school doesn't just die out suddenly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And following what you said, I want to ask Titi this question. What happens when it doesn't look like there's a next in sight? Sometimes it's good to believe that you don't give up, you need to do something better. What if better seems obscured? What if sometimes how do you determine what's even new? You've done a lot. You don't see the next in sight. How do we deal with such realities?
So is this from a student's perspective? Is this from a school's perspective? Or this your question has picking and grandchildren?
Okay, so let's start with the school's perspective.
If you ever get to that point where you can't see better, then it means that you're in the wrong. How will I say you're in the wrong pool? Your pool is the one that is now. When you are the king of your pool, then that's a problem. You need to move. You need to change places. There's always a better. There's always something bigger and greater, but sometimes we can't see them based on where we are. So it's like what you say about being the one-eyed man in the land of the blind. So when you are the one-eyed man in the land of the blind, then it seems as if you've arrived. But when you take your one eye and go to the land of the people that have two eyes, then you find that there's a whole lot more. So I would say personally for schools is then to ask yourself, if you've reached that point where you feel you've arrived, then go looking for what's next. And that's where going for a lot of seminars, going for events helps to open your mind beyond your own local environment. So if you are a champion here in Nigeria, go and then start saying, okay, the people in other countries, what are they doing? What's the next move? Begin to open your mind to the future. That's what I would say. It's the same thing even for a teacher or even for a student. If you are the best teacher in your school, that's fantastic. But as you start this new academic year, you say, what is the next milestone for me? So I'm the best in this community. Let me go and check in another community where I'm not like the best thing since sliced bread. Even for children, it's the same thing. If you make the mistake of sending your child to a place where he's not challenged, or when you have I'm sure Finn can relate to this. When you have a very, very brilliant boy in your class where he's way ahead of all the other classmates, and the teacher keeps giving him the same work with his other mates, he becomes a trouble in the class, because when other people take 10 minutes to finish, he does it in 5 minutes. Between that other 5 minutes, that he has extra, he starts being troublesome, so to speak. So sometimes when you look at a child that is troublesome, it's not so much the fact that it's not so much the fact that he's troublesome like that or not. It's because he's not being challenged. So it's important for each and every one of us, if you are at the top of your game, if you are the best thing since sliced bread, you have to ask yourself, what next? And this is a good time to ask yourself, what should I be doing next? What's the next frontier? Where can I get ideas for this next thing? So if this is what I've done and everybody was wowed, what can I do next? Keep pushing the edge. There's a quote that someone quoted that it's my new quote, so you hear me say it a lot, Rotimi. He says, you need to start getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And if you're in a place where you're comfortable, then it means that you're missing out. Growth isn't happening because you're comfortable. And I was like, wow, that's so true. So if you go to a place where you're comfortable, you've been comfortable for a while, then growth is not happening, because growth tends to happen in a place of discomfort. Let me leave it like there.
All right. So we've all heard Titi's new mantra. You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And we would like to add a Good Money Education Show remix to that. And so while you're being comfortable in being uncomfortable, or you're trying to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, a cup of hot tea would help you, through the day. Over to you, Alero. I want to ask the question. Alero, if you were to pick one thing,
Why did I know? Why did I know that as soon as you mentioned tea, I was coming up next?
you are in the land of tea, man. All right. So I'm going to ask Alera. So what would you say, looking at, the service delivery of schools, or looking at the reality of schools, the school experience, teaching experience, learning experience, what should be that one thing you would say they should focus on um, to make that term, this term actually, the best term yet?
Okay, so I'm kind of looking at it from this perspective. It's September, the kids are excited to go back to school, the teachers are excited to start a new term with new children, and everybody's got their new stationery out. The kids have their new backpacks, the teachers have their new briefcases, they get into school. The first day is great, the second day is great. By the end of the week, everybody's tired. And by the second week, everybody goes back into doing what they did last term. And I think what needs to be done is that both students and teachers constantly need to stay on top of their game and always deliver the best, always push themselves to have that new term zeal, if that makes sense. And I think if you do that, it's not easy, but if you kind of push and thrive towards that, then you're likely to have the best term yet. That's my 2 cents, my cup of tea.
You almost said that's your cup of coffee.
Yeah, I did.
Wow. Yeah, you're getting initiated. Okay, so I'm coming to Dr. Motola. I know that parents are really, really happy to have their kids back in school. And but then for the parent, right? I think that I'd like to hear from your perspective. How would they consider the term as the best term yet? What do you think will be the things that they desire? They might not say it to the schools, but it probably might be down deep within their thought realm or expectations that makes this term, in fact, this the best term yet. What would that characterize the term as?
Okay, so coming from me, who is also a parent of a 4-year-old who just started preschool, I'll say, and this is not generalizing for every other parent, but at least through my small experience so far, I think what will make the school the best year yet will be the school being very communicative with the parents and carrying them along. So one of the first things I really love about my um, daughter's like preschool was that they had an orientation meeting where they brought all of the parents together. They gave us 3 days that you can pick from because they understand that not everybody can be there all at once. So you can pick and choose between 3 possible dates, evening or afternoon in between those dates. And then we got the opportunity to meet other parents whose children are going to be in the classroom with our own child. So they did like break what do you call it? Like icebreaker activities, then you get to know each other, introduce yourself to each other. If there's a way that you can collaborate, like do like school run together or something. So at least you're aware of who is going to be in your class. So that was really helpful. Then they set the mission and the vision that they had for the school year. That this is our hope, this is our plan, this is the curriculum we're going to go through, this is what we expect of you. We are going to do our part, but we need your help. Don't just think that it's just on us because your kids are going to be with us for 6 hours every day, Monday to Friday. You still have a role to play. So they set that clear expectation and they casted the vision for the future. This is our goal. Yes, some of students are going to start from not being able to read or something, and this is how we want to take them along the way. This is what the curriculum will entail and things like that. And already that was wonderful for me because I think we are missing a lot of that, especially let's say with public schools like across the world. Like they don't take that time to do those due diligence, to carry the parents along, to tell them, okay, this is where we're starting from. This is our vision, this is our mission. And then they talked about the COVID-19. They didn't just try to like sweep it under this is what we're doing every morning as your kid arrives. There is a teacher, there's a designated or an helper who take them to the bathroom. They have to wash their hands for a certain amount of seconds, dry it and things like that. So they showed us the protocol of how they are keeping our kids safe in the classroom and all of those kind of things. And they let us know, okay, if this is happening, if they're coughing, then they should not come to school. So they gave us different like plans for different things as well. And so already that gave me a lot of peace of mind. That helped to alleviate any stress or concern that I may have had. So they basically answered all the questions that I was hoping to answer through the way that they were very thoughtful and they walked backward. And so I think to make it the best 10 years, schools need to really do better with communicating with the parents, carrying them along, and also letting them know that, okay, we are not magicians. We do our best, but you also have a part to play. So don't just think that, oh, because I'm paying the school fees or because I paid for this, then that's the end of the work. My work is done. And it has to be a collaboration between the parents and the teachers and the school administration to ensure that the mission and vision for that term, for that school year, can be achieved. So that will be my own 2 cents. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And let me quickly go straight to Fee. I know Fee has been writing a lot and she has a lot to say. So Fee, please paint for us a philosophy around the best term yet. How should that be seen? How should that permeate into the culture and communication of the school?
That's a tall order. Wow. Suddenly going to become an Aristotle or a Socrates right now. I'll try what I can. But for me, in addition to what has been said so far, having a best term yet is for this term, especially with the peculiarity of the times that we're in, with quite maybe a number of children have experienced deaths in their family from COVID, from other things. They've seen parents being stressed because of the demands of the extra demands on their jobs and all of that. Some of them may not be that interested or that excited about going back to school. And to make this term a memorable one for them, to make this term the best for them, I would say that schools need to begin to focus more on the individual child experience. We call it differentiation in the classroom. Teachers should pay much more attention to differentiation. Look at that child who left. Well, now they're having new set of children. So you probably do not know about their behavioral patterns before. But in some schools, teachers get to interact with students across all classes. But look at that child who comes to class in the morning and maybe is crying, doesn't want to come to school. Or look at that one who is disinterested, and pay attention even to the one who is hyperactive, because for some children hyperactivity is their way of hiding what they're dealing with, or is their way of not being able to really express what is going on with them. So I would say it's going to be a tough call, it's going to be a tough order on teachers, on the school. It may be a time for the school authorities to involve some of their admin staff to walk into classes, help the teachers out, find out what's happening with this child, help them to fully get integrated and reintegrated into the learning environment, into the learning space. Let's have maybe a whole lot more of fun activities and fun learning methods introduced into the classroom. So if there are subjects or there are topics that you want to start off to introduce to the students, if there's a video to teach it, why not? Why not use a video? Do we have to go through the normal introduction, talk through it, and all of that? If there is a song that says something about that topic, why not use it? So that at the end of the term, when you look back at it and do a review, it really would have been the best term yet. And this really, I'm putting emphasis on the student learning experience, because really the school, we all are in the system because of the students. So if they're not getting the best from the learning experience, and no matter what else we're saying, no matter how much we are involved, we have trained our teachers and brought parents together and painted our schools and made everything look really nice. If the students are not getting the best from it, then all of that would just have been an exercise in futility. So for me, the best time yet is upping the students' learning experience. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to use this last question as one stone that we should use to have a lot of birds down. I'm going to kind of try to amplify what you said. So let's imagine that the best term yet, in my own way or in my own words, would be transformational growth at all levels. I'm going to start with Alero, then I'm going to go all the way through everyone, and that will also serve as our parting shot. So, transformational growth as the thing that you can easily say qualifies to say, oh, you know what, this is the best time yet. We experienced transformational growth. In your own way, in your own words, what would you say and how would you amplify that?
Um, okay, so I think that's ultimately is the goal, isn't it? To continually grow and yeah, because if you start the term knowing one thing and you go to the end of it and you haven't progressed or developed, then there's definitely something wrong. So ultimately, whether it's in school as a student or as a teacher, you too also want to learn. And that learning has to make a difference in the way you see life afterwards, or the way you interact with people and the way you handle experiences. So yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, really, transformational growth. I think.
Thank you. So let's have Dr. Omotola. Dr. Omotola.
Oh, sorry, what was the question?
We're talking
My
about,
Go
you
ahead.
said?
Go
Okay,
ahead. Go
so
ahead.
transformational growth being like a summary or interpretation
Mhm.
of the best time yet. How would we achieve that? What would you say would be the direction towards that?
I'll say it takes partnership, like not just saying that, oh, like I think it takes partnership with all the stakeholders. So that includes parents, the students themselves, the non-academic teaching staff, the support staff, the teachers themselves, the administrators. So when everybody is they're on the same page and they know what the mission, they know what the agenda is, and they all work together towards making sure they can get that whatever the mission or the theme for the school year is, then the possibilities are endless and transformation will happen. But if there is a lack of communication or miscommunication along those pathways, then that's where transformation will not happen. So I'll say, don't think that, oh, students, they don't understand. We're not going to carry them along. We're just going to make decisions for them. No, carry them along, ask for their ideas, inspire them to want to contribute, to give you ideas. Because sometimes we even come up with the best creative ideas that you can come up with. So if you're having a persistent challenge as a school, and so don't just think that, oh, students are not stakeholders. Include them, and when everyone is carried along, like the possibilities are endless. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Titi, over to you.
I would say that transformational growth is a goal. Make it a big and scary one, big scary goal, but realize that it's a journey so that you're not putting yourself under unnecessary pressure, expecting that you're going to transform overnight. It doesn't work that way, whether as an individual, as a student, as a teacher, as a school. So set your goals and say, this is where I would like to be. Have a plan on how you want to achieve it. Realize that it will take time, but as long as you have a plan and you're working daily towards it. So it's the same thing for children. If you want them to, say, I want you to excel in this subject, I want you to get better here, um, start by setting the goal, have a plan to help achieve the goal. Don't put them under unnecessary pressure is what I'll say. Don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure as well, and they just walk towards it. You might meet some hiccups on the way to achieving your goal, which is fine. You might take a longer journey, take some detour, which is fine, as long as you're walking towards it. It's very clear. That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. So avoid putting yourself under pressure. Remember, it's a journey. I love that from Titi. And of course, it makes everybody to realize that it's important to take that step. Finn, will give you opportunity to say yours, although you were the one that brought this up. So let's hear from you on transformational growth, and then we'll call it a day.
For me, transformational growth will be achieved when we are hungry. It's one thing for us to have that blueprint and say, oh, it will be good. This is the era, or this is the period where some schools have done it, others are just doing it, getting ready, getting their workforce activated for the term. So it's a good thing to say, oh, we're having training for our teachers and all of that. But if at the end of it, there's no hunger to actually see transformation happen, then it will just have been an exercise ticked off the to-do list. For me, hunger is one of the things that will help to achieve transformational growth.
And speaking of hunger, I know we'll be able to sort out that issue once we end the show. My prescription will be get a cup of coffee or tea on standby while you make something for yourself to take away the hunger. Finney has told us something in disguise, and make it the best breakfast yet, if you may. As we bring this the show to a close today, we're going to have a party show. Thank you so much, Titi. Thank you so much, Dr. Watona. Thank you, Alero. Thank you, Fee. Thank you, Olusola Olumide. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. And thank you. I am craving for sponge cake this morning. Titi, I don't know if Titi is still on.
Titi's on a diet.
Titi, you know where I go, you must go.
Your people shall be my people. That's how
where I go, you
Get
must
it
go.
behind
Your
me.
people will be my people.
You know, that makes it better. Once you say I should get it behind you, that means I'm going to be able to give it to you and tell you that, Titi, here's your cup of cake goes best with coffee. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. We wish you a great day. Please watch the replay. Make sure you tell someone to make it the best time yet. And do that. You've heard our analysts and experts, and we talked about hunger, we talked about transformational growth, we talked about you looking at yourself and don't put yourself under pressure. Make something big and scary out of that plan, and you'll get out a lot of good from it. Until we come your way tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Wednesday. It's going to be a great time on the show tomorrow as well. We have something you don't want to miss. Until then, make sure you have yourself a great morning. So, ladies, at the count of 2, we have our sign off. Ready? 1, 2, go.
It's always a great morning
on
the good morning.
Have a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Bye.